We're back on the X of 52 podcast, presented as always by our friends at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. It is Wednesday night, Blackout Wednesday, November 26th, 7:45, 7:45 here. My name is Jake Louque, getting together with my guys, Spenny, with Arditti for a little Thanksgiving happy hour. Poured myself out a double of some Jack with honey. What are we drinking, boys? How are we feeling?
Spen is muted. I have a nice ice cold, not Santa Claus Coca-Cola.
Didn't get the Santa Claus yet.
I have them. This 12-pack just didn't have it.
I hate that.
Yeah. I'm itching to let the Santa talk tonight, you know.
Yeah, tonight we let Kris Kringle talk. Yeah, interesting week. Sitting down for a little happy hour. The work is done. The hay is in the barn, as some might say, on the work week. And we are, of course, heading into tomorrow night, a little Thanksgiving tilt. I feel like it's only happened like 2 or 3 times now, but I associate the Ravens with Thanksgiving way more than I should. This one being obviously yet another installment, Ravens taking on the Bengals. That's all very exciting. Stuff going down in MLB. We've got Dylan Cease signing with the Blue Jays. I think dashing some Orioles fans' hopes there in that regard, probably twofold. But as of right now, I don't know if we want to go too deep on any of it. I think we kind of just want to chill and hash things out. How are we feeling going into this Thanksgiving, gentlemen?
Feeling all right. Had a little bit of a tough go with some car and some dog and some things like that, but got a nice cider and Festivus Maximus Sagamore rye, small batch Ravens. So played a little golf today, able to spend some time with family, and yeah, Ravens hot and heavy. Greg Fritz here, happy to announce that he's watching with his newborn son on the lap. Round of applause. Seems to be responding well to our
having a baby around the holiday time is very fun. Joe was born, I don't know, I think she was like a week before Thanksgiving when she was born, and it was great because you could use it as an excuse to like not have to do anything. Like I gotta hold the baby in a minute. I gotta feed the baby. I gotta do this while everyone else is mingling in the kitchen, and you know, it's like, oh, just make me a plate, and I'll have to kind of eat on the go, you know.
Yeah, being friends with you for like 5-6 years now, I can always tell like when that's a real excuse and when you're kind of just using it to get out of stuff. And like it's always a fun dynamic. Not that I like blame you. I would do the same thing in your position.
Well, I just told her too. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go do the podcast for a little bit. And I was like, you can come down if you want. And she was like, for what? And I was like, to come on the podcast. And she was like, no, I'm good. And I was like, okay.
She's appeared before.
Yeah, she's tough crowd we got tonight here, you know, with her.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's one of them nights. What are our Thanksgiving plans? What are we doing? What are we doing tomorrow? Any big feasts? Any exciting in-laws that we're excited to see? Uncles, aunts, things of that nature. There's the joke is always like the Thanksgiving political discussions. That's obviously in a little bit of a weird place in terms of the country right now. So we don't have to get into that. But yeah, I what's kind of the temperature on all that?
I am going to the game. That's been the big plan. So the day kind of revolving around that tomorrow evening. Been a little sick, so trying to calibrate how to gently do that and when to have the most fun. So that's been on the docket since the schedule came out. And 3 years in a row that the Ravens have a major holiday game, which is pretty cool. Becoming a holiday team.
That's what
the last two have been
my association. Yeah, they have. And sorry to cut you off. That's like has to be what my association is now, because I think about like the Christmas games and all that kind of stuff. You're right. They are turning into a bit of a holiday fixture here. I don't know if I love it or I dislike it. I mean, obviously it's gone well for them recently, so that's fine. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of be able to have your holiday and all that stuff. Like as far as me, like I'm going to my parents' house, which is just like obviously a 20-minute drive, but watching the game over there with the folks. Dad just had a little procedure done. Everything's okay. He's fine, but I'm going to chill and watch it with him. So very excited for that. But then it's going to be recording a podcast right after that. So, I don't want to overindulge necessarily. I feel like it's going to be kind of a stressful game too. I'm always stressed and nervous before games. And now we've got the return of icy Joe Burr as winter comes, and Joe Burrow going to be taking on the Ravens. So there's going to be a lot of storylines going into this one, which is exciting.
I mean, the Ravens offense hasn't been great, but their defense is just so bad. So bad.
Geno Stone got that pick though.
He did. Oh, what did Hank had a great or whoever did it, the fastest 2 minutes on Pardon My Take. Something about Sorcerer's Stone. It was a very good one. I like perked up when I heard it. I was like, "Oh, that's a very good one." But I can't remember. But yeah, it'll be interesting. They're doing the all purple with the purple helmets, right?
They are.
That has to be. You got to do something special for Thanksgiving.
Seeing some pretty positive reviews across the social media sphere, especially regarding the helmet too. I like when it first came out, I don't know if I was like in love with it, but when I saw them actually wearing it out on the practice field today, I was like, yeah, that works. That's really good.
They've worn them before, right? What game did they wear them before?
I think they did the same jersey combo last year, Thursday home game, but they've never done these helmets before.
Yes.
This is the first time they've messed with the helmet in like 20 years. They've been trying to establish themselves as like a historic franchise and brand through that helmet and that logo and stuff. So cool to see them finally shake it up a little bit. And yeah, it was the Tylan Wallace had that crazy touchdown up the sideline last year in that game in the all purple.
The Rams game? No. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah, the helmets. They did the helmets last year, Roadrunner Crow was saying?
Yeah, I thought this is their second time wearing. I thought it was before last year that because Derrick Henry, I thought I've seen him wear it before.
Oh, yeah, they did wear it. Yep, you're right. It's the second time. Sorry.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought it was
last
black
year. Was it Bengals last time?
Yeah.
So it probably was that Tylan Wallace game when I was sitting
It was a 35-34 win. And it was November 7th. So
Chase had 1 billion yards.
Ravens were down 21-7. Yeah, Chase had like 260 yards on 11 catches and 3 touchdowns, I think.
And I think they tried to go for 2 in the win, or maybe they were going for the touchdown to tie or something like that. And
they scored a touchdown, tried to go for 2, and I think Ardarius Washington was like glued to the tight end, and Bengals fans wanted a little PI there, but did not.
Yeah, I think Gesicki after Sunday too, he's quietly turning into one of the all-time cry for a flag guys.
Yeah,
Gesicki. I would have never even thought of him to be that.
He's a good player, but he's very evocative. Whenever he scores a touchdown, it's like when Peter Griffin would get a sack when he was playing for the Patriots and Family Guy, and he would do like a full Broadway show. Like it feels like whenever he scores a touchdown, there's some like big gritty performance that's going on, and then whenever a call doesn't go his way, there's a lot of theatrics going on. So I don't know. It's interesting. Like you see that from him, but then like Burrow, I will give a lot of props to as being one of those guys who does not do that, especially when you look at Mahomes and you look at Allen, who are just constantly doing it. That is one thing I really do respect about Joe Burrow, but it's still there with the Bengals a little bit.
Lamar and Burrow among that like elite quarterback group are the by far least crybabies, which is always respectable. Packers Lions tomorrow, as juiced up as it could possibly be. I feel like Chiefs Cowboys also majorly juicy. We had a comment in here, I think too. Is this the best slate?
Has to be.
I can't recall all slates off the top of my head. I can't even recall any, I don't think, but that's 3. There's no dud. How many times has it been Bears Lions double dud? How many times has that happened? Or like Cowboys and
they had Cowboys Saints one year that was like god awful. Like they had Redskins Cowboys that was good.
It was always a function too of the Lions obviously do it every year, and they were so bad for so long that they just kind of stick them in that initial slot. Time slot. And I don't know if they moved up the time slots because I feel like it used to start at 3 and maybe they'd have games running together and then go into the 8. I feel like each game has its own slot now. But yeah, the Lions getting good definitely helps with that. The Cowboys are always an interesting watch no matter what, especially, I mean, really, as long as they've had
their
Romo.
Defense, since they traded for Quinn Williams, they've been like first in EPA, first in run defense, first in all kinds of stuff. They've been dominant since they acquired him.
We are going to get some takes from uncles and grandfathers about George Pickens tomorrow. I feel like at some Thanksgiving tables, there's going to be some things said.
I don't know if I got duped, but apparently it might be like a dupe of a weird aggregate Twitter, but apparently he posted a picture of Brittany Mahomes and it said "We feast tomorrow," and then he deleted it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's real or not, but I'm gonna pretend that it was because I love it.
I hope it is because he's a great. He's turning into one of the great characters. He kind of already was with the Steelers. But it's funny, they always have a diva receiver, but now that he's gone from there and he's in an environment like Dallas and things are going well, he's fun to watch.
And he's playing super well. Like,
and if things start to go bad, that's going to be fun too. Like him and kind of Jerry probably duking it out in the media a little bit. I think that has potential to get explosive. But yeah, no, he's a great character. And Brittany Mahomes also one of my sneaky like favorite villains in the NFL. Like people like legitimately like hate her, and I get why. But like when she was like spraying the champagne on people and like laughing into the camera like Cersei Lannister, I was like, she is.
Lannister is a good comparison, and I feel like the hate has died down on her. I feel like
she's been quiet. Jackson, we haven't heard from Jackson since he dumped.
I think Patrick. Yeah, I think Patrick is kind of after the DUI with Pat Mahomes Sr. I think he kind of sat them all down. I was like, all right, guys, we got to rein
Which one? Which DUI?
The most recent.
When he was trying to fight John Rocker on Bourbon Street before the Super Bowl, and then got involved with Rough and Rowdy.
I was going to say that was just a Rough and Rowdy activation, wasn't it? Just a promo.
Yeah, and then Mahomes was like, "No, we're not doing this." But again, I mean, the last time we heard from Jackson, I think wasn't it the water in Baltimore, and he dumped it on that kid.
There was a little bit of a darker situation with him too.
Yes.
I don't know if that was more recent than that or.
I can't remember. Again, it all kind of jumbles together. I don't know, but it's
Packers
you
haven't heard Packers line's 2.5 point spread. Chiefs Cowboys 3.5. Ravens Bengals the biggest one at 7. Like just no dud there. And
you could get a Jordan Love dud. Jordan Love, he's inching closer to my do not draft ever again list.
He's the best bad quarterback we've ever seen, or the worst good quarterback we've ever seen. I'm not sure which.
Best bad quarterback right now. I'm very angry with him.
Their offense is just has weird flow.
Yeah, like they
have a vanilla run game that kind of works, and then they just can't figure out how to. They never have a primary target. Tucker Kraft, Louque screwed them. That was their rainmaker, and he was so good after the catch and over the middle of the field. And since then, they've just been really dysfunctional.
Yeah, I think Love's insistence on just awful footwork that like looks fun is like one of the things that draws me to him. I compare him a little bit to Jordan Spieth, like now. Like, you know, there's just not a whole lot going on in terms of like wins, but it's always kind of fun to watch. It's always an adventure. And yeah, Kraft too, that really sucked. He was kind of one of my, like, in the big, beautiful parlay, he was always kind of my big first pick. And obviously one of those is still yet to hit, but I feel like he was doing his job on that. He had the courage to do what needed to be done, but he went down this year, sadly. So
Friday, 3:00 game also sneaky. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. Who is that? Is that Eagles?
Bears, Eagles in Philly, 3:00. I think that's the greatest game of the season. I think that even you can put the fact that it's Bears Eagles. I love a Friday 3:00 game more than anything on planet Earth. Going to the Friday 3:00 game the day after Thanksgiving, especially in Philly, but even just in general of any fan base, that is such a good activity. Can't understate how much fun as a fan it would be to go to a Friday 3:00 game the day after Thanksgiving.
It's going to be like these rabid Delco moms that just walked off the set of Task that are like getting into, you know, like fights with these people trying to get home after the Eagles, like just blew one to Caleb Williams. Like that's going to be like a war zone.
I think I'm rooting for the Bears in that game just for the Philly takes. Like I'm seeing like, you got to fire Kevin Petula. You got to get rid. It's like they're 8-3. They're not firing him. Like, I don't know where you people are thinking this is going to, like, they lost in like a shootout game. They're like, you got to fire this guy. It's like, that's not going to happen. Like, what are we doing? So yeah, I'm
every week on this podcast.
I'm begging for more Philly losses just to keep stacking up.
I would say too, like the two powerhouse offenses that have regressed the most are probably the Ravens and the Eagles. And neither of them really lost any bodies. Philly, maybe Cam Jurgens is out for Philly. I know Landon Dickerson's been banged up, the left guard, and they lost Mekhi Becton, who hasn't been like crushing it on the Chargers, but they have Tyler Steen instead of Mekhi Becton. And for as obsessed with Ravens fans are with the guard, and like understandably so in ways of guard position, it's like truly that's probably the least important position out of the 22. Like guard is probably the least important position. And so watching them lose Becton, turn into Steen, and then Dickerson play poorly, and then the Ravens guards just be not effective overall. It's hard to point. Like, at least Philly changed offensive coordinators, Ravens running back Todd Monken. So those two explosive offenses Sneaky, still explosive. I shared it with you guys. The Ravens are third in explosive plays in the NFL still. Missed Lamar for 3.5 weeks, but those two offenses, like, are they sleeping giants or are they worn down, beaten up, and tattered?
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't feel that way with the Ravens because they don't sustain drives, but they do. It feels like at least a couple of times a game they do hit one of those 20-plus yarders. So,
you talked about guards. Why is Ben Cleveland? Oh, never mind. We're not gonna. We're not gonna.
I think you should try to find out about that.
What's the point?
Eric Arditti finds out.
What's the point?
What is the point?
We'll do that later.
Are you gooning right now?
Shout out to the guy Kyle Goon.
But what a delicious slate from Thursday. Also, am I crazy or did the Lions game not sometimes even start at like 11:30 a.m.? It starts at 1:00 tomorrow.
That's what I was saying. I feel like they've changed the timelines around.
Titans played the Lions one year, like prime I think Chris Johnson and Lendale White both had like 100 yards. Or like Chris Johnson had like a 80-yard run or a 70-yard run or something. And that game, I want to say started like either right at noon or like it was very, very early. I do remember that. Yeah. So that was probably 2009. But yeah, I remember that Lions game was very early. So maybe it did. And then obviously they moved it up. So I don't know. It's weird, but
they have the traditional kickoff times of like a Sunday slate, which is interesting to me. I always loved like being a little sleepy because it was the Lions and they weren't great. Like you're a little sleepy, stayed up late playing video games or something. Like when we were 13 years old, like playing with your brothers or something, you wake up and it's like, oh my God, it's 10:30. And then you're like, not really with it. And then it's like an hour and a half later, you start to like go snack on something. It's like the start of the second half and it's like 1:10 p.m. or something.
Like I'm trying to beat the Spirit Temple here and this game's starting. Like, I got to prioritize.
Yeah. It's always like that was the game where everyone, your mom is doing something, you're doing something around the house, or you're doing this, or you're getting the silverware out, or it's like, oh,
that's where you do a little bit of an investment there. Hey, what can I help with? At circa 11:30 a.m. What can I do? And then you get that chores out of the way.
I did my part.
Yeah, I'm doing my part. Starship.
And then you can always say, well, I missed some of the game earlier, so I think I deserve to watch the 8:00 game. And your mom's always like, yeah, you're right. He doesn't have a damn good point there. So
the Alonzo Mourning gif. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on as they're cleaning up. But yeah, I see the Johan Preston 8:30 on Thanksgiving night is going to feel like 11 p.m. What time do you guys eat on Thanksgiving?
Late. We usually like to eat late, like dark out. Wow. Don't like to overdo it. However, the difficulty of that is the appetizer snacking, the cheeses, the dips, the snacking,
salami,
really,
pepperoni,
ruins dinner a little bit. But that's my favorite part. At the same time, favorite parts of eating wise are the initial spread, and then of course the sandwich the next day. Mm-hmm. And little cranberry, little turkey, little sweet potato pie on the sandwich, some mayo on there just to lube it all up a little bit.
Thank you for reminding me, by the way. I almost forgot. I have to set a reminder to tweet out the Sopranos. Have you heard the good news? He has risen. Almost time for turkey sandwiches. Just a narcoleptic Janice boyfriend. One of the great scenes in the history of that show.
Certainly is. Go ahead. What did you guys spread situation and typical?
I feel like we usually go around 3. I'm sort of with you though, where I'd prefer to push it back to maybe like a 4:00, pig out like a good amount, especially this year, like pig out a couple of hours and then just kind of let the tryptophan wash over me and kind of maybe calm my nerves ahead of the 8 p.m. kickoff here. But we'll see. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a smaller crew this year, so there's probably a little more leeway. But excited to dig in. I'm not a huge overeater in general, as you can tell. I'm 190 pounds, but this is the one day a year where I just throw all that to the wind and I just fill up on stuffing and turkey and gravy and all that good stuff. Sweet potato yams, as Vernon Davis would say.
We need Uncle T for that. That's his favorite part. We do. We're usually later. We're like 4 or 5, I think, and then. Again, you're kind of just roaming. I think the best part about Thanksgiving and these eating holidays are eating while you're standing. Like you're always kind of picking something and on the move. You're just drive-by eating. Like you're taking a salami, you're taking a cheese and cracker, and you're never sitting down and eating until the dinner time. But because again, you're like, I can't have lunch. I can't.
Do you guys? Do your families have any weird like unique things to the Ardittis, to the Louques? Any atypical dishes? I have one, for example, if you'd like me to start.
No, we don't have anything, but I'm anxious to hear.
We do what's called redneck caviar, which is typically a Triscuit. You can use any cracker, spray cheese, a smoked oyster out of a tin, and Tabasco on top. And it has 100% success rate. I understand the grimace of smoked oyster. How many people have had a smoked oyster? Probably 4% of the U.S. population has had a smoked oyster or less. But delightful, little Tabasco, little whiz. It is fantastic.
Yeah, I was at Riley's maybe this night last year or maybe 2 years ago, and just absolutely pigged out on oysters the night before Thanksgiving with my brother. And that was a real treat going into a feast, because you wake up and like they're not super filling, but they taste really good in the moment, and then you're just ready to keep going.
I don't know if do you think they taste good?
I do.
I don't know. I've only had the oyster once, and I'm not a fan.
Sea boogers, it's the classic "Are you a picky eater?" dish.
Yeah,
if you are a picky eater, you do not like the way the oyster looks.
The man to the bottom of your screen is maybe the pickiest eater I've ever met in my life.
The time that I had an oyster was when I was playing in the Jimmy's tournament with Adam Jones, and he like physically forced me to have one.
He's like a creature of comforts too. Like he loves all that shit. So like you're gonna have to indulge in that when you're with him.
He kept being like, "You got to have this on it," and he's like, "What are you gonna put on it?" And I was just like, "Just make the oyster for me like how you would eat it." And he put like hot sauce and garlic or I don't know, something like that. And I had it, and I was like, what do I do with this now? Like, what am I doing with this in my mouth?
Sea boogers are delightful, and my favorite like cliche "hang this in the beach house on a plank of wood" phrase is, "He who first ate an oyster was a brave soul."
I thought you were more of a live, laugh, love kind of guy. It's very basic.
I think I'm alive. I definitely laugh. I don't know if I love.
You're a big lover.
I'm a big lover.
You've got, Tutu, you've got us. Of course.
What do you think of, so we obviously were 90s into 2000s babies. Like, what do you think of childhood Thanksgiving? What comes to mind when I say 2000 Thanksgiving? Is it something sport related? Is it food? Is it a smell? Is it like, what do you think is different between Thanksgiving when we were little, or what comes to mind, and today?
Yeah, definitely split screen co-op, like any game with my brother and my cousins, like just, playing GoldenEye or whatever, or like Mario Kart, stuff like that.
N64 comes to mind fast overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the PlayStation. My neighbors had the N64, but we used to, again, up until maybe 2010, like 2 or 3 years out of high school, we were still doing like Thanksgiving morning football games, like getting the guys back together and just like ramming into each other for an hour and a half and then coming home all dirty, So I don't know. That's what
you'd come home from war.
Yeah. Being like, oh, my knees are killing me, after we were just running as fast as we could into each other for 2 hours. Like,
those were the most fun too, because I was a shorter kid, and so like I would I was fast though, so I would always just go out for routes, and then like if I got brushed up against even slightly, I'd complain and cry foul, and so like people would avoid me, and I was like Wes Welker out there, like just absolutely just moving the chains.
Mario Party. Omni-Man Burner says Mario Party. Mario Party was always clutch because there would be some friend or cousin or something that didn't really know how to play like Smash, or didn't really know how to play the other games. So Mario Party was like quick, easy little flicks.
Yeah.
Jacob 7077 says, trying to tackle my adult neighbors as a middle schooler in Turkey Bowl. Yup, just whoever the runt is ends up in snotty tears, and then there's a whole situation.
I do remember
Trust Fund Taylor Smythe, by the way, at Calvert Hall at some sort of Hall of Fame induction or other, and then he's going to be at the turkey. That guy's going to be on the sidelines at the Turkey Bowl tomorrow, just rooting on the men of faith, intellect, and integrity.
Of course. I do remember. It was I guess it was 98, because it was we watched the Randy Moss game versus the Cowboys, but we went to my dad's boss's house for Thanksgiving, and I was 9, and I had just gotten like a real size NFL football, and I like carried it around everywhere. And I remember bringing that and like a pair of shoes, like a change of shoes, and like shorts and being like, well, mom and dad, I'm going to bring this because we may play with them. We were there with my dad's boss and his coworkers being like, we may play football. So like, I have to bring this. And now looking back on it, it's like, what a fucking dumb kid, like walking into my dad's boss's house, spinning an NFL sized football, being like, so when are we, in the middle of like Bethesda, like $1.5 million house, being like,
just a
so
bunch of guys
when are we
with,
going out to, when are we tossing it around out there?
just a bunch of guys with Esquire at the end of their name. It's like, they're gonna,
like, who's this 9-year-old, that is begging people to go play football? Like, but then we just watched Randy Moss put up that iconic picture, the 3 catches, 142 yards.
Thanksgiving back then too was like really when starter jackets started to really pop out on the sideline. It was cold out, getting frisky there. I think of Nerf footballs and starter jackets.
Yep, Vortex.
All-time visual, the Friends episode. They really nailed that for the 90s with the crew necks and all that stuff. Like that's an iconic image.
I was gonna say Friends for sure. They really did like the Thanksgiving episode. No shows like don't do that or didn't do that really. Friends.
Well, I famously did the Thanksgiving trivia, and everybody was like, I don't really remember these because there's not that many iconic ones.
Yeah. Well, again, Joe's birthday is in November, and the second Halloween ends and everything goes to Christmas, she's always like, no one cares about my birthday month. No one cares about Thanksgiving. And now I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like there's no Thanksgiving movies, songs, shows. There
are a few movies. I mean, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, that's like one of the best comedies of all time.
Yeah, but like
Joe, that's like not even something she can conceptualize or ever.
Also,
you got Peanuts.
One too. But she's not into that. And it
sounds like a skill issue. You gotta start educating the kid. I know I'm talking to the wrong person about high quality movies and TV. So
we haven't talked about the Variety magazine or the Variety list. I don't know if you saw that.
Variety. They pay their writers $30,000 a year out of school to write about the popular kids.
Awful list.
Everybody in town reads this stupid fucking thing. All right, I got more calls about this fucking thing than when my mother passed away. All right.
Sherry Fruz Abadian says the stress of finding the best video games and movies to rent at Blockbuster. Yes, had to have something equipped for the basement for the night before, the evening after.
I was talking to my buddy. Do you remember? Like, I remember when I didn't have a memory card, and I like begged and begged and begged my mom to take me. I'd like finally saved up my Blockbuster gift cards for like I think they were like $25, and I'd saved them up and saved them up and saved them up. And I ended up doing it. And I left my PlayStation on for like 4 hours while we like ran errands. And my mom was like, yeah, we'll go to Blockbuster and we'll get a memory card. Cause I was like, I can't save it. So I forget what game I was playing. And I remember being like, I think my PlayStation is going to blow up if I leave it on for like longer than 3 hours unattended. And like that, I remember literally in my mind, it was like one of those movies where like, it was like 24 where I could hear the clock ticking in my head. Like, the longer this goes, this thing just may blow and the entire house is going to go with it.
One of the craziest things in the world that they sold those separately. Like you needed those to play, literally to use the machine, and they just sold them separately. It's like, what are we doing here, Sony? Like, come on.
Yeah. And now you don't have to buy anything. Now it all comes in it. But yeah, good old Blockbuster. I saw there have been some good TikToks about Blockbuster and everybody. The good old days.
Yeah, I was a little bit behind that wave. I remember going a handful of times, but I was a little young for that, as Spenny makes a screen only himself. Interestingly, but
I would assume Brian's going to the game.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
I would assume Taylor maybe too. Maybe not. I don't know.
Could be.
The Smythe crew may show up. I always like seeing that.
Oh my God, I'm not even thinking of the fact that the Turkey Bowl is displaced because of this game, isn't it?
Well, yeah. That's why, and it's not there every year anyway. So
it's not. Oh, I always thought it was.
Yeah, they do it at like Towson and other places sometimes. So you got to assume Turkey Bowl takes precedent for the Smythe crew.
I will send you a
tip. Smell, and Blockbuster also like had a unique hint of fluorescent lights. Everyone had like unique lighting.
Yeah, and there was the mirror too. I will send you guys a TikTok. I found like an edit on TikTok of the Turkey Bowl. And a super young Keith Mills, like emceeing it and like ripping it, being like, there's nothing better than this, baby. It must have been like 93 or 94. Like, It was like vintage. It was a good edit. So
I was
I meant to send it to Taylor.
one of the M&T ones. I was a ball boy in like maybe 07 or 08. So that was like the one time I've ever been in like the Ravens actual locker room and went out on the field, kicked a field goal. Probably an extra point would be more accurate, but out there, if I remember correctly, with a young Colin Heacock, who is now a lacrosse player of some renown. So good times.
Colin is Mr. America. I know Colin. Yeah, all the fun things. One dish that can stay, one dish that can leave. Like, actually, I'll phrase this: you show up to Thanksgiving, and there's only this one dish. It is the only thing you can have. What is that? And then one that you hope to never see again.
It's got to be for the keep. I got to go with stuffing. It's my favorite Thanksgiving dish every single year. I love it to death. I don't know if it's just a function of the fact that that's the only time we really eat it, but regardless, I love it. I associate it with Thanksgiving. That's my number one pick.
Is there meat in the stuffing, or is it
you
just
can throw you can throw a little bit of ham in there, but it's more about the crust and more about the other fixings. Huge stuffing guy.
Did you say the fixings?
The fixings.
Yeah.
I blogged that I think we should eat stuffing year round. Like I like, why not have stuffing on 4th of July? Like, why are we not eating that at a Super Bowl party?
Yeah, that's an old Dave Damashek thing that he would talk about. It made me wonder, like, do we do that, and does it lose its mystique? Is kind of my whole questions around it. So I could probably I'd have to do like a social experiment of whatever the exact opposite day of Thanksgiving is on the calendar. If I ate it then and it tasted like as good or better or whatever, then yes. But I don't know. That's something I'd have to look into. I'll get back to you.
It's like the cicada of side dishes.
Yeah, but like actually good.
Yeah, but it's like if the cicadas helped the earth and like we're
cicadas
awesome.
are delicious.
Yeah,
I've never had them.
I've got some relatives who would probably agree with you on that.
Eric, you're agreeing? Just stuffing?
Yeah, I'm retweeting. If I'm gonna be different, I can just be pretty plain Jane and say mashed potatoes too.
Sure.
Like, but again, I end up mixing the mashed potatoes and the stuffing and the gravy and all that stuff. But I give me stuffing, give me mashed potatoes, give me any of those sides.
The mashed potatoes are how you know what the rest of the meal will be like. Like if you've got mid mashed potatoes, you're not having a good Thanksgiving.
Yes, and you're stocking up on extra stuffing, and you're like, all right, I got to start. You're pulling an audible. You're throwing out hot routes, and you're adjusting on the fly. That's how you see how good you are at adjusting on the fly. Like, all right, mashed potatoes stink. Too much butter. Too much this. Not enough this. All right, how am I gonna pivot, and what am I gonna fill up with?
Yeah, I think it's the Mick in me, but it's like the crunchier those things are, the more filled with actual potato they are, the much better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go sauerkraut. My mom makes just a delightful sauerkraut. And I think that I'll say pumpkin pie and sauerkraut, those two things I have to keep. I do understand, though, if you have not had good sauerkraut, if you haven't had good sauerkraut and you haven't had good pumpkin pie, I understand hating them. Like a store-bought pumpkin pie usually sucks.
I like your
damn question. Like, I never had no pumpkin pie. Kick it.
I didn't know if people knew where Jake was going with that. I'm fine with store bought pumpkin pie.
That's a joke for two. But yeah.
Store bought. I'm fine with store bought. I enjoy it.
Get it from go with the Kuiper method. Go to Growls. Get it there.
Growls does have the good pies.
Have you sweet potato pie? Have you ever had that?
I'm not a sweet potato guy personally. That's one that I could certainly leave.
I'm okay with it. Yeah, I could do with or without. I like sweet potato fries. I think they're good. Sweet potato pie though I've never had. I've never dove into that one. But anything sweet I can leave, like that and the cranberry sauce are my two automatic leaves. I just don't understand. Like I just want the salty, just calorie filled, just absolutely pump my arteries like full of this kind of stuff. I usually don't really drink on Thanksgiving. I've kind of just stopped drinking altogether. But like, I used to make like a bloody in the morning or something like that. Like,
yeah, I do. Like, I'll crack a beer once the first game starts. Maybe I'll have a second before I eat, and then that's about it. And then usually I'll have one with dinner, and then I'll break open the brown stuff. little bourbon, something like that. I did get some when I was down south of the border. I got a bottle of Don Julio that came with this really cool little like skull cup that's like Day of the Dead like cup thing, which is supposed to be really good. My coworker talked me into it. And then for the Yankee swap, or the white elephant as they're calling it, I got a big bottle of mezcal with this like stuff that came with it, like this sandy concoction. It's totally foreign to me, but it looks good. So maybe
not a big mezcal guy, not a smoky guy.
It's really, it's you either like love it or you hate it, and I'm still not sure where I am with it.
Yeah, take some time. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I ever said Brian's wedding was my last real big hurrah, and I think we drank enough Spotted Cow. I think I'm still sweating that out.
Yeah, so. It's very much turning into like a pick your spots thing for me. So like a thing like this where we're all just chilling out, I'll have a couple JDs, but I've definitely slowed down on the holidays too. I remember in my early 20s, I would drink a ton on Thanksgiving Day just because like I knew I was going to eat a lot as well, and that would kind of shout out to Monk. They cancel each other out, but I'm kind of a little more slowed down in that regard as well. But I'll still indulge. Spenny's going to be because he's going to be at the game, and he's going to be at his rowdiest because he doesn't have to work the next day.
I'm off. We're off, baby.
Hell yeah,
Sunday
brother.
Scaries, no Sunday Scaries here. It just depends. It depends where, I don't always do the same thing every year. Been to different folks' places or my place and stuff like that. So it just depends. And you always want to be on the same level as those, or, if you feel like people want someone to make some fun. I think it's a nice thing sometimes. Like it depends on if someone's cooking and people are kind of like crowding the kitchen, like go get people to have a bev outside out of the kitchen, get out of the way of the chef. Like go into the basement and watch a game and have a bev and play some sort of fun little twist it, twirl it, bop it, or card game or something like that. And get out of the kitchen if the chef's getting crowded. Get out of Carmela's way, Artie Bucco.
You don't want a seven fishes situation. And it's it's kind of, I think it's cool. Like some people that I'm friends with, like their family, like just turn it into a full on party and everyone is just getting totally hammered. And I think that's great. Like that's probably a lot of fun. It's just not totally the way my family operates. So.
Yeah. Well, again, also like if the Ravens are, the Ravens are playing at 8, so it's kind of like you can't, if you're at home watching it, like you're not going to be sitting there drinking all day and then you're going to pass out by the time the game starts.
Yeah, you can't shoot your wad there, especially if you have a podcast to record after. So I got it.
I do remember
that won't happen just because you're not supposed to. Not you, but I'm saying the general spectator.
Yeah. I do remember there was one year that we had our family friends over and we had dinner and we were like, all right, this is before that there was like a big 8:00 football game. I think it was only like the 1 and the 4 or whatever, or 12 and 3 or whatever. And we were like, oh, what should we do? And somebody was like, we should watch what's it called? What's the spinning top movie? The Leo. Inception. And then everybody fell asleep within 13 minutes after, like, not the movie to put on after you have, again, been drinking a little bit and eating all day and just like, I need to sit down. Like Inception is not the movie to be like, oh yeah, let me just kind of pop this on,
No, that's not. And then another favorite of mine was when I was in college and me and my friends one time just totally hammered, might have indulged in some different substances. We put on Inglourious Bastards and we got probably halfway through it before we realized there were no subtitles and like most of the movie is not in English. And we're like, wait a minute, is anyone like noticing something weird here? And it's like, yeah, this might not have been the one to put on.
You like 25% of the people are in the room are sleeping and you're like, do we keep going? Do we turn it off? Can I change it? Like, is that okay?
Yeah. So. Yeah. You never know.
Also, I will say this too. The Black Friday stuff sucks now. Like, I remember like all the women and girls in the house used to after dinner be like, all right, now we're going to go to Columbia Mall. We're going to go to Run of Mills. We're going to do this. And now it's like sales started like last week. Like,
they're not even real sales anymore.
No,
it's not. No. It's just like, oh, we marked it up and then marked it back down.
Yeah, they jack the prices up like 2 weeks in advance, and they're like, oh, it's a sale. It's like, well, I could have got the same price 3 weeks ago, and then it's all online, and I'm about to turn into Bill Maher here, lecturing the millennials and the Gen Z on how bad everything is now.
Yeah,
you do have some Bill Maher gusto now that I put it together.
Yeah,
it's my dad's guy.
I got to, that makes a lot of sense. Bill Maher these days, I mean, I got to send you, Eric, this Tim Heidecker parody of his podcast. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
I'll have to watch it. I will be watching some more Nick Mullins stuff tonight. Outrageous.
Ludicrous.
We are going to get him. What is that? We are going to turn him into a rev.
I don't want to hear your side of the story. Day one, we got to get him ordained.
Yeah, get him ordained. The illustrations that go with that are the best too. Oh my god, so good. I'm gonna watch the Seinfeld one again tonight too.
Rest in peace to my best friend Nick. May his legacy live on forever.
He was a good backup quarterback for a little bit too.
He was, yeah. He won that game, and he was like, we play in the preseason, and they say, well, you got to still play the games, and that's why we play the games. One of the great.
What's going? How bad is Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy stinks.
I didn't watch a ton of that game, but it didn't totally shock me at like him coming off that injury, and then he's had the Tommy John, and like he was never like this imposing presence to begin with. I mean, I don't know. It's starting to make a lot more sense why Kyle Shanahan was so desperate to pick Mac Jones in that draft. They got Trey Lance, and like why things have gone differently for that franchise since then. I mean, obviously it's kind of worked out for him, but at the same time, I don't know about this whole thing.
Did he get an extension? He got an extension, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, he
record setting or like all that.
Yeah. It's like it's one little shelf above Lamar's because it happened after.
It's one penny above. That's what happens to all these starting quarterbacks. They play
Derek Carr and Jordan Love,
Daniel Jones. Yeah, like it happens with all these guys now.
Golly. Where
quarterback carousel this year of quality of play has been really interesting. Stafford playing so well. Like just an interesting kind of reshuffling of who has been efficient and consistent and those kinds of things. Drake May surging, been a lot of missed time from some good quarterbacks. Josh Allen hasn't been
Baker early.
Baker early. I was scared about that shoulder. I was scared about that shoulder the other night because I knew that was his surgically repaired shoulder, and guy's a tough cookie. But it's why, I mean, at the end of the day, it's why you don't want your guy taking hits. That's what Todd Bowles always says. Like, I don't want him taking hits. He takes these hits in September, and he's got a surgically repaired shoulder. He's not the biggest guy on earth. Like it or not, it adds up, man.
That shoulder is probably why he's not in Cleveland anymore. I mean,
it is the fact that he tried to grit through it. I feel like is why he's not in Cleveland. That he tried to play through it for them, and that's why he was so irked and understandably so. And I don't know. I didn't end up watching it, but I remember they were teasing the fact that he had some little interview where he's like, yeah, going to the Rams saved my career or whatever.
And, I heard a little bit of that. Yeah. And he was like, I was there for 40 hours and then won a game, or they said that or whatever. And that was a wild time. That
was a great game too. He led that drive like literally right at the very end. Like that was pretty awesome. And an inconsequential game, but everyone's kind of watching it for him to like see if he can salvage his career. And that's what gets him probably that job in Tampa Bay.
I'll say I've done like a hard 180 on a couple guys. Bryce Harper was one of them. I used to think Bryce was an absolute tool bag douche when he was on the Nats, and then he's just fully embraced the Philly thing. Baker's the same way. Like I have tweets out there being like, I can't wait for Baker to win like the 2023 Kinko's Employee of the Year. Like he's gonna be great at Denny's. Like what a guy. And now I'm like, I love this guy. Like.
Guys do change though. Like I think he changed a little bit. He used to be more like he was kind of feeling himself when he got the first overall pick, but then he was like, "Oh, I'm still the underdog." It's like you're kind of playing it both ways here, pal. And he was doing like the underwear shoots with the tiger and everything. It's like we can probably tone some of this down, and then he did.
Is it progressive? What commercial was he in where he was living in the stadium and they played it every 3 minutes? That's again, it's like not his fault, but it was like, all right, dude, we get it. Like you're still on the Browns, and
it kind of is his fault though. Like. Look at Lamar. You don't have to like take every endorsement that gets thrown your way.
Yeah, you don't. But
he likes to have fun. He likes to be in the spotlight. He relishes it, and he's good at it. He's good at it.
Yeah. And he's also like if you can back it up with your game, people will respect that. Like I think that's one thing with Shitter Sanders right now that like the discourse is completely like just spun off the face of the earth. Shout out to Kendrick Perkins with one of the great takes I've ever seen the other day.
Did you see Big Cat? And he said the take of the year has like we're just gonna give him the award right now.
Yeah, I think I retweeted Dan Carney before we got going here, where he was like, "Not my place to argue that." I was like, "Yeah, that's about where I am."
Shout out Perkins, to Tyler Huntley, sneaky being in a progressive commeral right now.
Very funny, very funny. Yeah. Those are good though, because in that him and what's his name? Who's the other backup? The I keep wanting to say Da Vinci, not DiNucci.
Is it
Tommy
Trubisky?
DeVito?
Tommy,
DeVito.
yeah, DeVito.
I think Trubisky's in it too, right?
Is he really? I could see that.
Yeah.
Who he came in? He's on the Who did he play? Is he on the? No, where is he right now? He almost came in
Bills.
last week, right?
Bills.
Yes. Oh, it was when Josh Allen hurt his wrist, or we
He's
thought
been
he
on the
hurt
Bills.
his
Yeah,
hand or wrist.
he's been on the Bills for a while now.
Yeah. But like when Josh was that 2 weeks ago when he got hurt, or we thought he like died when he was like flailing around on the ground, and then the camera shot over to Trubisky, and it was like, oh shit! Everyone's like, oh my god, like that. Yeah, everyone's doing the same thing. Like, oh yeah, there's Mitch. Like Mitch is gonna come into this game. So yeah, good old Mitchie. He was Drake May before Drake May. That's why I think everybody was crapping on Drake May, being like, this guy's not gonna be anything. We've already seen this.
Well, I think that's just helmet scouting. Like at its
that's
finest.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you would never fall victim to that. We got our guy Big Shot Bob in the comments here. Happy Thanksgiving to you, bud. We got
My Coca-Cola.
Roquan and Hamilton are going to make Joey B's life hell tomorrow. Kyle Hamilton, that guy is Terminator 2. I don't know if you've seen that, Eric.
Yeah.
T1000. Like it feels like he takes a shotgun blast to the face, then his body just
I was gonna say he's taken a lot. There's a lot of like, oh no, Hamilton is down. 14 is holding his
shoulder. Puka Nacua. They are
yeah.
Same player, different sides of the ball.
And yeah. Marlon's like that too. Marlon, I mean, especially this year, it's like 2 or 3 times a game where you're like, oh no, this could be a big one, But like I was driving home the other day on Sunday, listening to the game, and when Hamilton hurt, what was it? Was it his shoulder?
And it was his ankle this time. Well, he got
a lingering shoulder that got rocked by Breece Hall, and then at the end of the game, he twisted his ankle. He went into the medical tent because of the shoulder, and then he went into the locker room.
The shoulder. It was Woodson and what's his name, Sandusky, and they were like, this could be bad. This could be very bad. Like he's holding his shoulder. And then
he has a lot of. I think he just has a bad shoulder. He's always like catering it and walking around with it. I feel like he's probably got a torn rotator or a bad labrum.
He looks like a pterodactyl too, so it's like kind of every arm movement is more like exaggerated. Like there's a lot going on with him.
That Terminator nickname needs to stick. That needs to be like your gif of just is that the one where he walks through the fence, or is that the first one?
Yeah, no, that is because it's like that whole movie is him just chasing John Connor and Arnold. Yeah, and he's just like he's like liquid metal, I think is the explanation from the future, and so he's like walking through like the bars in the jail, and he's like taking a shotgun blast and just reforming. Robert Patrick, great performance, and then he shows up in The Sopranos as Davey Scatino, the desperate gambling addict. It's like one of the funnier like flips because he's like one of the scariest villains of all time, and then he plays just a total putz in The Sopranos. Great character actor.
That needs to be the thing though. Every time he gets hurt, Kyle Hamilton, you need to just do the gif of him like his face like reforming after the shotgun blast.
The T1000 is his new nickname, and I know I'm going to tweet that gif when he goes into the medical tent, and he is just not going to come out.
Yeah, that's going to be the one time.
Yeah.
You need to get a jersey with 14 and T1000 on the back would be tough.
Yeah, I would like that.
That would be a good one.
Jamar Chase has 90 plus receiving yards in 5 of his last 6 games, and he averages 106 yards per game and has scored 7 touchdowns in 6 games against the Ravens. I think Harbaugh was asked, like, are you going to double him because T. Higgins is not playing? And he was like, yeah. But last year, T. Higgins was out, and he still torched the Ravens. So easier said than done. And I shit on Zach Taylor a lot, like a lot.
Deservedly.
A lot. And he did, the first time I shit on him was the preseason when they ended up going to the Super Bowl winning the AFC. But he has done a great job moving him around, putting him in at the point in a bunch or getting him off, putting him in motion, moving him everywhere and running the offense through him. And Jamar Chase is like, he's unique. I would say he's like old school in a way and how efficient he is. And coming off that suspension, it's definitely curious. And I'm sure Burrow and Chase have their little mind meld and their attitude. And I know Burrow was pissed about having to play in Baltimore on a short week at night again and all that good stuff. So it's curious, but at the same time, I just, maybe I eat my words, but I don't get it. I don't get it. And then suddenly ESPN's like, well, if they do win out, they will make the playoffs. And it's like, sure, go ahead now.
We're doing this again.
Yeah,
it's like that every year.
It's every year. Every
year.
If they could just win out, maybe they'll make it. And it's like, golly, geez.
That's where we're like, it's totally different conversations with like the Harbaugh Tomlin kind of haters among the respective fan bases, or it's like, oh, they get to the playoffs and they don't do anything. All fair criticism in my mind. But then it's like Zach Taylor still hanging on there with the cheapest ownership group in the NFL, and they start, 4 games below 500 heading into Thanksgiving every year, and then they make this late surge, and people are trying to talk Joe Burrow into the MVP, like, which if they had won more games would have been valid, but they just cannot seem to figure that out. And to your point about him knowing what to do with Chase, and they got a lot of weapons. I mean, Yoshivas is no slouch. Like, they've got guys, but it's like
Tinsley
do all that, but it's like, can he be a great head coach? I think the jury very much still out. I think he's the real 2021 man. A lot of people throw that around for Joe Burrow wearing the AI generated Superman with the 2021 on it. I think that's much more Zach Taylor than it is Joe Burrow.
Did you see, I guess, when he was Chase worked out, I guess, at the University of Cincinnati last week because he couldn't practice with them and like be there, and they were like, this is probably the only team in the league where he would go to his local college and it's such an upgrade for the training facilities. Like, he doesn't have to cross a road and go underneath an overpass to catch balls. Like, and he was like, oh yeah, the facilities are sick. They're great. Who's a good body comp for Chase? Like, cause he's not big. I mean, he's yoked, he's jacked, but like,
he is spectacularly stronger than he is massive. Like, his mass to strength is incredible. He is so much lighter than AJ Brown and has arguably more physicality.
His balance through contact is some of the craziest you'll ever see too. Like, he never goes down on first contact, even when it looks like he's gonna, to the point that like he fools other guys into thinking the play is over. Like that first time he played the Ravens, I want to say, in 2021 in Baltimore when they blew them out, like totally out of the water, complete surprise. And he just like, I think like Marlon, and this was before the one-arm man, so I'm not sure who the safety was, but they kind of just collided into him and he just like shrugged his way out of it and ran like complete.
It was Chuck Clark. Chuck Clark had spun him and he just went through it. He is always fast enough to outrun the defense. He is always strong enough to get through the contact. Like, it's never some spectacularly like overkill effort that he makes. It's like he was simply just enough strong, like just stronger enough or just enough fast to break the angle. It's like always kind of reminds you of Lamar in a way. Like Lamar, when he's in the open field, like he's fast enough, he's quick enough, some of those things. So I don't know, man. Like the efficiency almost reminds me of AB, but AB was such a choppier deceleration athlete.
It's like lithe and languid, like, very kind of like a silky smooth rather than it is like the herky jerky Antonio Brown, that kind of thing.
It kind of reminds me of T.O. in some ways, but T.O. is huge compared to
T.O. is just
T.O. is like AJ Brown plus. Like he has that kind of, I don't know. I don't know. I can't really think of a good comp.
He's a guy that people are going to be trying to compare other receivers to in 10, 20 years. Like that, you have some of those guys where it's like, oh, well, I literally can't compare him to anyone. Like Calvin Johnson, you can't compare him to anyone that came before. Like,
no.
I'm looking through like all-time receivers. I think none of them make any sense. Like none of them.
Yeah,
I'm looking at
like I said, what is
Smith from the Jags? Maybe he wasn't strong like that though.
No. But like
Michael Irvin wasn't that strong. I really don't see anyone. He is certainly one of a kind, I think.
6 foot, what, 200, 205, something
he
like
could,
that?
He could sneakily be 210. He could sneakily be 210 and he's listed at 205 or 200 or something like that. Wouldn't surprise me, but his ability to just like sit down on just a hitch and just give a little push off or not is just like the least amount of steps possible. He's the most efficient. I was thinking Steve Smith too. He's taller than Steve Smith, but Steve Smith, like the effort was so much higher. Chase is so much smoother and it's more effortless. Like his physicality is way more effortless. His balance through contact, like Jake says, very, very unique athlete, very special player in the history of the league.
Everything looks natural with Chase. Like it all looks like
football. Yeah,
everything. And again, he never looks, like you said, off balance or like it just always, it looks like a movie where everybody is choreographed the exact way that it should be. And he just he's just faster and better than everyone. Like he's fascinating to watch. AJ Green was taller.
AJ Green is like
taller and lankier, right?
Yeah, T. Higgins is AJ Green to me. So it's sick. They have AJ Green, and then they have like the fucking best receiver you've ever seen on the other side of the ball from him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good stuff. Glad I have to face that twice a year.
I was going to say, I know you guys just despise it, but he is so much. And like, he always seems to step up like those big Chiefs games. I feel, that when it was Bengals Chiefs, that when they're like a week 14 or 15 game where he absolutely went off there.
That was like 42-39. They like barely beat the Chiefs and like they hang on to like
the AFC Championship that sent them to the Super Bowl. He had that fucking back of the end zone insane catch on them to do it. To do it. So spectacular player. Give me 14 of them. You can build the whole car out of Jamar Chase. Could definitely be a fire defensive player. And yeah, there's a comment in here about the running back. Yeah, he is a running back with the ball in his hands. It's probably, I would probably have to look through a list of running backs, and that would probably be the movement comp. Definitely.
Yeah, Saquon would be my comparison.
Can I read the stat line from that game? So it was January 2nd, 2022. He had 12 targets, 11 catches, 266 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Insane.
Like I'm looking at like Edgerrin James, kind of seems like him in smaller shoulder pads, like that. Like, I like running back comps more for him.
Yeah, I mean he's
Sean Alexander.
Like I want to go back and look at his draft profile and like who they tried to compare. I guess that's unfair with that LSU offense, but.
I mean, he was the one though. Like Jefferson was not considered the cream of that class. Like Jerry Jeudy was ranked ahead of him almost unanimously.
Yeah, Jefferson went like 22nd or something like that. And Chase, obviously the big argument was like, is it him or Penei Sewell? And they went with Chase. And you could probably argue Penei Sewell might have been like smarter long-term play still to this day, but like shit, man, it's close if you would want to argue that. And Chase is just that fucking good. If they can just figure out their offensive line and their defense a little bit, like they're going to be a big problem next year.
Lance Zierlein said Torrey Holt, and I see that, but he's so much stronger than Torrey Holt. Like inexplicably stronger than Torrey Holt.
It's insane that Torrey Holt is not in the Hall of Fame either. That's crazy to me. Again, as someone who like watching those Rams teams, Torrey Holt should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. It blows my mind how he was not. He was incredible. So
it all goes back to Jake's theory on the receiver bubble. There's a bubble in the Hall of Fame. There's a bubble in the NFL. Holt had 1,600, 1,300, 1,300, 1,700, 1,300, 1,300, 1,200, 1,200 in a row.
Is Reggie Wayne? Reggie Wayne is in, right?
Yes.
See, like, again, and I love Reggie Wayne. He absolutely should be in, but Torrey Holt should have gotten in before that. Like,
maybe Reggie Wayne's not in.
Is he not?
I thought he went in a couple of years ago. Am I wrong on that?
I don't know.
Nope, he's not. Neither of them are. Wow. That's also crazy, too.
Did Maserati Marv Sr. go in?
Yes, he's been.
That's who I'm confusing it with then. Yeah.
He retired a while ago, and then so many receivers, because the pass game elevated, went insane from the time like Marvin retired or was like phasing out to the time that like Reggie Wayne had retired. I feel like there was an explosion. Andre Johnson's not in.
Yeah.
Like it's like Larry Fitzgerald is an amazing, amazing player. He will probably he's not in yet. I think he's this year.
Yeah.
He'll be a first ballot, I bet.
He has to be. Has to be.
Yeah. But I feel the same. Like I don't feel that he's in a different class than Torrey Holt.
Isaac Bruce is in. He got in.
Yeah,
I think he was like the first one where they were like Isaac has to go in before Torrey and before Reggie Wayne and he probably, I forget when he went in a couple years ago, but man, I mean, I just hate the whole like you can only have to this X amount of guys from this position. Like, no, if they're Hall of Famers, they're Hall of Famers. Like, it shouldn't matter.
You're kind of, I think you get hurt when you're surrounded by this great cast of characters too. Like if you're part of the greatest show on turf, it's like, oh, well, it wasn't just like people probably factor that in, which I don't think is totally fair either.
But they were an all-time, like I feel like you can't tell the story of the history of the NFL and of football without the fastest show on turf. They innovated what football was at the NFL level. And interesting thing I saw, I think Kurt Warner, the year they won the Super Bowl, 97% of his dropbacks were from under center still, which I knew was the case, but I didn't realize I didn't realize it was 97% under center.
Dude, yeah, it's like the degree to which the sport is just developing into a passing game. Like I think
it's already gone back to the run game and it's still in the shotgun. Like it's already fully gone
I agree with you, but like I think like 1995 and like 1960 looked more in common than like right now and like 2008. Like it's just moving so quickly, and I think rules are a big part of that, but it's also the way teams are drafting to work around that and everything, and like the way kids are being taught now. Like it's moving so quickly.
Agreed. I do feel like they've slowed a bit, and Dan Campbell's point was so prescient and salient that it was like, hey, let's ban the tush push, let's take off shoulder pads, let's play two-hand touch, like let's just not ban anything. Like, why ban anything? You don't have to keep going and going and going and going.
That's my thing about the tush push. Like, I think it should be regulated properly. Like with the false start stuff, you got to figure that out. But it's like, that's literally what football was when it started. Like with the leather heads just crashing into each other. Like it was rugby.
Yeah.
Basically. Like,
yes, very much so. Great point.
Yeah, that's what like every NFL film Steve Sable clip looked like, you know, from way back when. Absolutely. Like just guys running into each other. So
amen. What else we got? I guess to talk a little bit more about the Bengals Ravens game. Chase Brown had minus 54 rushing yards before contact through the first 3 weeks of the season, and averaged a league low minus 1.2 yards before contact. He was getting hit over a yard behind the line of scrimmage on average. And since then, it's up to 1.7 yards before contact, fifth most among running backs from weeks 4 through 12. So their run game's been a lot better. Their defense has looked a lot better the last 2 weeks since their bye. It's still not a very talented unit. I do think like there was some
Yep.
You know, so I don't know how I just did that, but against those,
I was worried there that I was dropping off. That, by the way, that is just a fear living in the back of my mind after Sunday.
Definitely. Brian shocked us when we did the post game. Like, well, I didn't think the spread was going to be. I think it started at 8.5. What he had, I didn't think that would be the spread there, and I think 8.5 was begging people to take. I think it's begging to take the Bengals. I think Vegas is like, take them, please take them. Oh God, dear, please God, take them. Favorites on Thanksgiving over the last, I think it was 62 or 42-20 overall, straight up as well. Favorites on the road of 3 or more on Thanksgiving are 24-1 in the last 25. And the Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites in Dallas. However, all of those things, like all trends are cheese for the Rats. Like, every time you're like, oh my God, this has happened 7 of the last 8 times. Like spread wise, it's such a trap, such a trap. I don't like that stuff anymore.
Chiefs 3.5. That's interesting.
Chiefs are fucking good. They were down 20-9 against the Colts. Colts, I would if I'm doing pinky bet, Colts, no shot. Did Big Cat do a pinky team yet?
Chiefs. I think when the Chiefs. I think he picked Chiefs.
What?
I thought he had picked them.
What?
I don't know.
That would be legitimate in a life of a man who is, you know, probably
he wants to cut his pinky off, and let's all admit it.
He has gambled more money than I will ever have in my entire life. That is one of the craziest things I've ever heard. You'll cut your pinky off if the Chiefs don't, or if the Chiefs win.
Let me try and do some digging and see. I don't remember.
Can we say this though? Big Cat definitely wants to cut his pinky off. Like every year, he wants to cut it off more.
Yeah. I think it's just like. He's like, that's the thing with gambling is like, and you're very familiar with this. Obviously, I think we all are on some level. Like it's just like it's like with any addiction, like the juice just keeps getting, it becomes more and more or less and less attainable. And you've just got to keep upping the ante more and more. So maybe this is the year that he crashes out and he loses a pinky over it.
That guy 0915 says Texans are the pinky bet.
Texans, he's already done the Texans.
I feel like he's picked the Texans 3 times in the last like 6 years.
He did, because that was the team that they made the playoffs, I think.
The one that's like really like would look really bold, but is probably pretty safe. I don't know why he just doesn't do the Ravens. Like, you know, regular season champions, like
because that's scary. Because that's terrifying.
It's like the 1 year they figure it out. He's just like, you know, they're driving to like win the game against the Rams or something, you know, late. He's just like, you know, looking down at his pinky finger.
Just throbbing for it. Interesting stuff all around. I don't know. Like, to me, I do think the Ravens have saved all of their juice for the Steelers and the Bengals. They have not played those teams yet. And I feel like if there's a vault, if there's a game plan, if there's a theory, it's to be applied against those two teams. So tough. Like Ravens have everybody that's healthy other than what Justice Hill and someone else just went on the IR. I think
Taven Bryan. I think
Taven Bryan went on the IR. Yes. So the bill of health since the Etsy witches has been incredible, and the English witch, but I don't know. I just don't see the Ravens losing this game. Like, how does Joe Burrow come back from missing all this time and cleanly play on the road on Thursday night? Like, I don't know. And the way it simply is turnovers. Like, that is simply the way this game is lost for the Ravens. I think it's simply turning the football over. The Ravens special teams, and this is what, and I did a tantrum when I was driving to go play golf earlier. I sent it to you guys because I wanted to talk about it tonight. I forgot, but it's like the way that the Ravens have been winning is the ways that they haven't been able to win in the last 5 years while they've had these dominant runs and these dominant teams that score so many points, and there's so much fantasy point production and touchdowns and flair and dancing and media love and all those kinds of things. Exactly. Like on the holidays. And then they go and you play better teams that drag you into a bare knuckle brawl, and they get beat up every time. They're the one with the black eye after. They're the one that got knocked out. And now you need to be Randy Marsh against Bat Dad. Like, the Ravens don't hear no bell. So they're the ones that have the black eyes and are slugging their way out of it. And it's special. To me, it's the fucking punt team and making kicks and flipping the field. Like, that has been killer. Jordan Stout being good and flipping the field and giving the defense breathing room, I think has been paramount over the last couple of months as the offense has sputtered. And I think we saw it come to a crescendo against the Jets, and it's been cool to watch. Kickers are not real people. Punters are real people, I will say.
Not when they don't acknowledge you when you see them out.
Yeah, listen, that's been at the back of my mind all season now that he's good. Listen, there's some revisionist history on that. We probably should have just stacked the fuck up and walked over to him. We had to play this little cockamamie game where we're like trying to get his attention. The more I get away from that, the more that one was on us. And the more mad I am about it that we didn't do it, because then we would have a picture with the best punter in the NFL. So that's on me and that's on Brian.
In front of the bridge. In front of
the Pride Bridge, yeah, which Jimbo, I got a great picture of him. That'll live on forever in fame. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Spenny. I think it's good to see them doing this. Like, I wish it wasn't in the context of Lamar Jackson looking like Rumpelstiltskin on the injury report every week. That would be nice if he had a little bit of that burst and a little bit of that juice. But like, to the point that I was going to make, like, they get into these playoff games and you mentioned them getting beat up. Like, there's an element of that happening physically, but there's also an element of them, like you always say, trying to press and do too much, and Mark Andrews fumbling a football and snaps going over Lamar Jackson's head and Lamar fumbling it, or throwing a dumb pick early when he's not on the same page with Bateman. Like, it's just about like winning the turnover battle and not taking sacks. That's like one of my all-time favorite Belichick clips, is him talking to Matt Castle and like Castle getting pissed off that he threw an incompletion on like 3rd and 11. And Belichick was like, look, incompletions never lose you games. It's always sacks and turnovers. That's literally football right down to a T. And like, when you got the horses and you got the talent, which I think they do, offensive line is obviously a concern, but they've certainly got it. You know, you can compete with anyone, especially when you have a quarterback like this. So this will be the new litmus test. This is start of the return of the king. This is the end of the trilogy as far as this season. The first one, you know, they get knocked out a little bit early on, 1-5. Then that was a new season when they came out of the bye and they beat the Bears, and Lamar comes back and they're looking a little bit better. Now you got to play some real competition, and you've got to see if you can not press and kind of apply these principles that we're talking about of just protecting the football, not playing outside of your means, not going for it on stupid 4th downs, taking the points when they present themselves to you, and punting the hell out of the football. Still, it's going to be boring. It's not going to be flashy to watch, but if they can continue to get it done, especially against like the Steelers and the Bengals, who I think very much are winnable games all 4 times, and then maybe pick one off against the Packers or the Patriots, yeah, you're making the playoffs, no problem.
Is this the game where, like, when is it, what game, what week do they have to start looking better? Obviously they're winning these games, but like they're running out of time too. Like, because we've seen this, you can't just turn it on in week 16 and be like, oh yeah, we're playoffs in 3 weeks. Well, they'll be good. They'll be fine. Like, when is that past for you guys where it's like they have to start showing you, that they look like the old Ravens, or in the regular season at least.
I just want to see them sustain
sense.
drives. Like I just want to see them sustain drives on offense, and I don't want this defense to do the thing they did last year, where they get off to a shitty start and then they play a bunch of bad offenses, and then it turns out they were a bit of a paper tiger. Like show me you can do a modicum of what you've been doing against Chase, and show me you can do that, and show me you cannot crap your pants against the Steelers inexplicably, who are just like straight up not that much of a better team than you, if they are a better team at all. Like it just, again, keep doing what you're doing. And again, show me it was not a mirage on defense. Spenny, you can go ahead.
I do always, I don't know, what's the right word? Colloquially, oh God, I can't talk. Colloquially believe in you are who you are by Thanksgiving. But I don't know. I think when you have a unit that has continuity and your issues are clear and evident, like I can tell you what the Ravens' issues are, and they're going to say the same thing. They are struggling to execute in short yardage situations, the red zone particularly, and they haven't found great rhythm in their pass attack. They're struggling to push the ball downfield for the first time in a couple of years, and it's tied to protection, it's tied to rhythm, those kinds of things. But they have gotten it done. And the Chiefs last year were never good, but they always won. They always won. They blocked a fucking kick. They got the first down. Kareem Hunt gets a 3-yard run to ice a game. Like it is those things. And I think football at the NFL level, more than ever in my conscious life, is letting the other, when you're good, when you have a good team and a good quarterback, it's more about letting the other good team implode than it's ever been. And they have been the one that explodes, implodes, that gets into the deficit, has to dig out, has to press. So, I don't know, the Rams are putting up a lot of points, but it's conservative still. It is running the piss out of the ball for 5 yards. It is booting Stafford. It is Stafford, Jake, like you mentioned, not taking sacks. And to Belichick's point, why was the Ravens offense so damn good last year? Why were the Bills so good too? Mahomes, the Chiefs, those 3 teams in the AFC, because those 3 quarterbacks don't take sacks, and they are. Allen's getting sacked more. Allen has been the best, I would say, of all time at sack avoidance, other than Brady. Brady is such a different athlete, though, that I would say Allen is better because he has the demon inside that says, I can extend the play, I can run, I can stiff arm you. Brady had to do it out of necessity. Allen can do it out of luxury. It is luxury to get the ball out quick and play like Brady. He doesn't have to play that way. That's what, when you listen to the Manning cast, I was like, oh my God, I wish I could fucking run for 17 yards right now. They'll say that anytime any of those 8 really mobile quarterbacks playing. Oh my God, Eli, can you imagine if we could have done this? But
different sport.
It is a different sport. And so to answer the original question, is it too late? I don't think so. I think when you go watch the short yardage stuff, it is literally whack-a-mole. It is a different guy. Go tap a random offensive lineman's helmet. They're the one that didn't get off the ball quick enough. They're the one that made the mistake. It is not Falele. I don't think is a good guard. I don't think he should be playing guard. I think he's replacement level. I think he's a solid backup, probably a solid backup guard. It's not him every time. It's Rosengarten. Then it's Stanley. Then it's Linderbaum. Then it's Voorhees. It's truly whack-a-mole. So I do think the continuity and the continuance of continuity is important. I do think having a long week, if they can win this game, get another long week, this is a mini bye when they usually have these later buys. I think they can solve those things. And I don't know, I think you're on crystal meth if you think Lamar is fully healthy, to run. I think you can go watch the Bills game and go watch the Lions game even and be like, yeah, he looked like Lamar Jackson burning guys to the sideline and getting first downs. And he can't do that right now. I think I'll say, I don't have a source on it. I think and we have Judge Baltimore I was texting with earlier, who says, live from Claudia's with Matt, happy game day, happy Thanksgiving, grit day, block someone, hit someone, rough it up, set the tone, love it. I think his PCL's hurting him. And I don't think it was I don't think it's ankle, maybe the hamstring, but he had that PCL 2 years ago. I think that's flared up. We've heard about it through the grapevine, through Jeremy Fowler will mention it, someone else. I think his knee's probably hurting. He probably needs a little procedure done in the offseason. So
he's also a guy who, when it's 55 degrees out, he bundles himself up like Little Ralphie in A Christmas Story. It's the cold cannot, as somebody who's had a severe knee injury, multiple, the cold is not good on them.
Exactly. Exactly. On your joints. Like, think about yourself walking outside. Oh, your body tight. Oh my God. Oh, everything hurts. I was golfing today. My hand, it wasn't even that cold. My hand stings. Like,
It's like 68 degrees outside today.
It was beautiful today. It was
It
post.
was crazy.
I was playing at like sundown. It was like 45, which isn't that bad. It's gonna be 28 tomorrow when the Ravens are playing.
The wind's gonna be crazy too. It's gonna be wild winds. So
polar vortex is making its way down after some solar flare activity. So keep an eye out for that.
Mark DL7YZ says gonna be hilarious when Cleveland is forced to start again. Like, and I do think that happens.
I hope that happens.
I do think that would happen. I do think he would grade out that way. I do think the floor play to play is much better and more consistent. But like, I don't like that's why people hate John Harbaugh, because it's a program. It is very much a college it's a meritocracy. And I know I've told you guys a story of like, I had a little tiny bit of an inside source into the Rams locker room at one point. And when the Rams won the Super Bowl, it was not a meritocracy. It was Jalen Ramsey could skip meetings. Von Miller could skip meetings. And then other guys on that team started getting pissed off and were like, well, why the fuck do I have to go to a meeting if they don't? And it was like, well, because it's Jalen Ramsey and Von Miller, and you're not. You're not those two guys. You're not as good at football. You haven't played as much, and you're not that talented, and you don't have that pedigree. So that's the downside of the program, I think, is that we've seen it. And 2012, like, I'm so sick of talking about 2012, but it's the fleeting hope. It's like, oh, well, they did put Bryant McKinney in after he was in the doghouse, and look what happened. And I don't know. It's hard. Like Emory Jones, everyone wants to talk about Emory Jones. I've never seen him play football in the NFL. Can't tell you he's going to be good with any certainty. I've watched Ben Cleveland play solid football, like good football against the Pittsburgh Steelers in a late game and subbing in last year at times. Like, I thought he was probably more consistent and better off the ball than really either of those two guards. So
yeah, he's also not a converted 6'8" former rugby player from Australia who began playing football like 10 years ago. Like, that's probably a good old boy from wherever he's from in the South that's been playing his whole life. So it's just, and like playing out of position, right? Like, that's another thing with Falele. It's just so strange to me. Like, I don't know.
He's a gap tackle, and they have him playing like zone spread guard, and it's not a good fit. And I think this is the thing. I think he's fucking doing good considering how bad of a fit he is. I think he's playing better than I would even have expected. So I give him that credit. Like, I don't blame him, and I think that the hate on him is misguided. And I think it's an obsession. And I don't think I think he's a very warm body there. And I think there's other teams, the Seahawks. Gray's Abel hasn't allowed a sack or whatever. He's not good. Go watch a little tape on. He's been getting beat up as a rookie. The other one, Burford or whatever his name is, he's horrible. Like, there's 5 playoff teams that have equal or arguably worse guard play than the Ravens. And again, like the guard fixation is like the funniest thing. However, we are watching the Eagles go win a Super Bowl because they had 5 good linemen. And the last time they won a Super Bowl, they had 5 good linemen. And the Chiefs got beat up in the Super Bowl, so they went and got 5 good linemen, and then they won a Super Bowl. So I see both arguments, but I do think it's misguided. And I think it's just like obsession. And what we had kind of chatted with Cole privately about is like, I think Lamar's missed time, and I think Lamar's not getting to the right shit in the pass game pre-snap. Like, I'll continue to quote Peyton Manning because he just gives nuggets on ManningCast, and one of the ones he always says, like, when you're the franchise quarterback, the OC's play calls are suggestions. Like, it is Lamar's offense. And I will say, I do think the greatest detriment that Greg Roman made to the Ravens was stunting Lamar's growth pre-snap. And I think that's why they brought Monken in, and it's expanded. We've watched it explode the last 2 years. So I just don't think there's enough effort pre-snap right now. And it might be out of like, you need the confidence to do it, to get to it. You need the reps to get to it. And it's hard when you've missed 3.5 games. So again, this whole thing is a tirade after Eric asked, can the Ravens like get back to a better spot? Yeah, I genuinely do. And I think Lamar getting more reps and being able to stay healthy enough to play games and getting to a better spot pre-snap and getting Bateman back and executing better in short yardage football, like those are the ways they get better. I think they know what they have to do, and it's achievable, and they've done it before with the same group.
I think this comment's bang on. Like all the scrutiny seems to come down to Lamar and getting him hurt in the passing game. Like, I think it all stems from them just not being able to run the ball consistently. Like if they could do that, they could take some pressure off the passing game. You can run play action a little bit more. You can open things up in the intermediate and deep levels. And it's just totally stunted their ability to, like I'll keep coming back to, sustain drives. That is what's killing them. And as Cole said, you can't run block. You definitely can't pass block. So it all starts right there for me.
You know what else too? And again, this was a big talking point in the preseason. The likely injury that has kind of thrown everything off, because again, if people remember, there were people who were like, oh, he'll be back by week 1, week 2, week 3, maybe. And it's like, no, man, those foot injuries, just because he's back and healthy. I mean, I saw it with Derrick Henry in 2021, I think it was, whenever he broke his foot and came back for the playoff game. It just because you're back, you are nowhere close, especially guys that big, like Likely. You know, they've gotten, does he even have 100 yards receiving this year? I would say no. You know, probably not even close. But
he's a really vertical above the rim type player too. It's hard to like make those plays and come back down comfortably. Like he's probably playing kind of tentative right now.
That's why I remember, like I took him in a couple teams in fantasy being like, oh, I'll stash him for like a playoff run, because week 12, 13, 14 is probably when he's going to start feeling kind of semi-normal. Like it's not. So I think that's thrown it off a lot too. The tight ends, I mean, Andrews especially, I thought he was going to have a great year, and he just hasn't, you know, but like you said, that's Lamar in the passing game, and it's just not, everything seems disconnected right now. Again, the run game doesn't work, the line guys, but it's a cog, it's the wheel, and nothing is connected right now. So it's all kind of just, they're just banging against each other, and nothing is working. So it's interesting, but
it is very interesting. And again, I think the Ravens are third in explosive total volume of explosive plays in the NFL. I'm trying to find it.
I was gonna say, who were the other two? You know, Rams have to be up there. Colts,
Seahawks, I think, were number 1.
Okay, yeah, I'm just thinking of like JSN.
Can't find it for the life of me. I'll hunt it down, but and here we go. This is rate. Having something else different than I normally see. Have the Ravens at 11th in explosive play rate, but it's not the same source that I usually see. I don't know, but 11th even still isn't bad. So, at the end of the day, like I just think winning this way and being able to not make the mistake and turn the ball over on defense, like I'm looking at this game and I'm everyone's like, oh my God, Chase torches the Ravens. And I'm going to put a crazy takeout. Like, I think Malachi Starks is a great, physically somewhat similar player to Jamar Chase that is big and rangy and aware back there. And he's still a rook, and he's not having great games all the time. But, like, I feel like he can get to Jamar Chase enough to slow him down a bit. He might not be able to grab him one-on-one in the open field and stuff. But, like, the one-arm man, Jake, last year got the fucking doors blown off him when he tried to pursue him in space. And, I think they're a better tackling unit. I think it's a very different defense than the Ravens had last year. And at some of those points where Chase has torched them. So their pressure rate since acquiring Draymond Jones is up to 38.6%. And it was 27%, second worst in the NFL prior to that. So big jump instantly. And we're only at the beginning of it. Like, just got here. A lot more work to do.
Love it. All right. Well, is that all we got? Are we all taked out on this game?
I guess so, my friend. I guess so.
Any predickies?
I think they cover 8.5. I think the Ravens win by 9 points. Like, I immediately, when Brian said that, I was like, there's no shot that's like Vegas wants you so badly to take the Bengals in this game. Like, so badly. Ravens, I think, have scored at least 20 points while not allowing 20 points in 5 consecutive games. Longest streak in the NFL. Longest streak in franchise history, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. 5 straight games. Scoring 20, not allowing 20. So maybe it was the longest streak since, I don't know, like 2015 or some random shit. But I think the Ravens win by 9 points. I think they win 29-20, 27 to 18.
17 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's right in that range. And I think the pass rush, I think the looks that they've had are going to give the Bengals front some trouble. Like Joe Burrow's coming off a freaking terrible foot injury. Like, all right, buddy, move around on a Thursday night in the cold in Baltimore on the road, trying to get back into rhythm pre-snap. I'll say this: if Joe Burrow puts up 30 points in this game, like, even if it's on dink and dunk stuff and Jamar Chase house and they're like, God bless you, Joe Burrow. You're a fucking legend. Like that is a tough spot to come back. Short week in the cold, on the road, on Thanksgiving, night game in Baltimore, where they very rarely lose. And the Ravens blew their first home game this year in primetime against the Lions, had 200 yards run. You think they don't want their lick back on pride and on ego and the things that they pride themselves on organizationally? You're crazy. So, score some touchdowns on a bad defense. Bengals defense a little better, but the Bengals run defense is bad. This is a get right game. This is a game to get you to 7-5. And the Ravens are who I thought they were like when they were 1-5. So I'm gonna continue to think that way. And maybe it's not pretty, but it's bloody and it's a brawl and it's black and blue and it's a freaking primetime game at the bank and 29-20.
Yeah, I also had 29 in mind. I'm going to go 29-27. I think we got a little Thanksgiving matinee classic on our hands here. Shootout. I think this Ravens defense, until they prove to me that they can really hold their own against a great offense like this, or at least, some great disparate parts on an offense, I'm not going to buy into it. I'm not going to fall into the trap of last year. Like they need to go out there and limit them to, 3 touchdowns or less. I got them 3 touchdowns, and I guess what would that be? 2 field goals, and the Ravens 3 touchdowns, 3 field goals. They kind of eke this one out.
Is that a Tyler Louque game winner?
Yes. First game winner for the Louque man. Louque, there it is.
How many kicks has he missed this year? I know he missed an extra point or 2 early, right?
He's missed
one extra point and 3 field goals.
3 field goals. Okay. He's looked solid the last what? 6 or 7
Pardon
weeks.
me. He has missed 2 field goals, and I think both of them were like 53 plus.
Yeah. Which
so distance hasn't been the thing for him yet. So I think this could be the one where when swirling.
His first extra point miss was against the Bills week 1, and they lost by a point.
I wonder, was that 1 point consequential at all in that game?
Yeah, I wonder. So he is perfect from under 50 and has not missed an extra point since week 1. And I will say one of the coolest things kicking wise was Randy Brown he said right before the season started, like, expect some struggles early because we are working on his trajectory. We want him. He's not from the Northeast Mid-Atlantic playing in December. We want him to have a piercing lower flight so that he can put it through the wind. So expect some struggles. We're working on it. And he's been ripping balls. He has that nice draw that catches and fights the wind and hangs inside. Definitely a draw kicker.
And they talked about it too on one of the games. I forget, but the kickoffs too. Because he had how many penalties did he have in the kickoff?
He leads the NFL in kicking infractions on kickoffs, I believe.
And they were like, this is a hard thing to try and work on during the week and then have it translate to the games. And they were like, expect that to iron itself out too, because he hasn't had one of those. When was the last time he had a penalty?
He had one last week, but it was
Okay.
It's been a little bit before that.
Okay. Yeah, that's also like if you introduce a wrinkle like that, I mean, that is red meat for the bulldog that is John Harbaugh, and he is going to be like working his ass off to like try and get all sorts of computations and permutations with the kickoff, and that might be a lot for like a 21-year-old who looks like he's 14 in his first NFL season.
Stepping into big shoes, to replace. I mean, obviously, it's not the way that they wanted to, but again, I mean that all that stuff I think plays a factor for sure. So I'll keep it. I'm going. I think 27-17 Ravens. I think Burrow is still. He's got to be rusty. He has to be. And
if this defense holds them under 20, even with him being rusty, short week, all that stuff, I will definitely be a little more bought in on that. Not that they haven't looked good the last several weeks, but again, they're playing just a total whatever the opposite of a murderer's row is. Like this is like a puppy dogs and ice cream row of quarterbacks that they've faced the last month or 6 weeks. So
yeah.
Even if he's rusty, it would feel good coming off of that puppy dog and ice cream row to thwart.
It's a bit like you said with the Browns divisional game. Like it's always going to be tough.
Anything can happen. And Mark had a good comment. I don't want to survive blitzing Brainiac Burrow. I'd rather the pass rush be underwhelming to leave players in coverage. Yeah, I think it's more stunts. They've been stunting a lot. They've been running Dre Jones inside and using Kyle Hamilton. So definitely sim pressure. They'll send 5 a little bit, but they've had really just the thing I would say if I'm Zach Orr that I'm proudest of what the beginning of the year was to now is just the urgency to tackle, the urgency to cut the playoff and rally to the football. That is the simplest thing. You can be proud of that as a peewee coach in 3rd grade. You can be proud of that as a varsity coach. You can be proud of his NFL coach. They have rallied to the ball so much better and have been so much more urgent. If you're a spot dropper as Kyle Van Noy, he's fucking getting out of there and cutting it off and getting his eyes up. So I think they've been really cognizant in that regard. And I think that's a astute comment that Burrow sees that stuff. He studies it like crazy against the Ravens specifically. They've been the top dog in the division, and Burrow's torched them. So if you're not urgent and you're not deliberate in getting to where you need to get, then he's going to get Jamar Chase the football in space. Chase Brown's been frisky, and those are the two guys that can hurt you. So I think that's an astute point, and I think that's the matchup to watch in this one.
Totally. Jake, what do you make of them holding the Rams to 17? Probably like a fair point there, but that was also a weird game. The wind was whipping. Stafford missed a couple throws. I think that might have been a little inflated, but point taken.
Yeah, that was because that was the week before they go to London too, and they were staying in Baltimore. There were like a lot of weird circumstances.
Yeah, and listen, you know what? I hope to be proven wrong. Do it again versus a divisional opponent who is giving you lots of trouble, not in the win column, but in terms of just lighting up your defense. Do it again. Okay. Anything else?
I think Roquan Smith has gotten so much shit, and we talked about like Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey being guys that like miss time and get beat up, and that dude's been involved in a lot more collisions. He's definitely a little more stout, but not terribly bigger than either of those guys. And I would love to see a big game out of him. This is the game where you need the $100 million linebacker to get everybody on the fucking smelling salts and smacking each other in the face mask and ready to die for it.
And if these, vicious, scurrilous kind of, things that are being thrown around about my guy, Uncle Rowe, let's indulge the idea that they're true. This is where you play the mind game with yourself, where you feel like, if I go out there and I have 15 tackles, I am going to pig the fuck out at my Thanksgiving feast the next day or whatever. So that's got to be a big motivating factor for him.
He wants that turkey leg.
Time to recreate rest in peace to our guy, Jacoby. You let Uncle Rowe do the turkey leg photo this time around. You're muted.
Let's just end on that. Let's end it on Jacoby Jones. I want to get this image in here real quick.
All right. I was going to say that has to be a picture tweeted out at least once tomorrow.
Yeah, I've already seen a couple of them. But anyway, we appreciate you all hanging with us here on this gobble gobble turkey Thanksgiving happy hour live special. Enjoy your blackout Wednesdays if you are indulging. Stay safe. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Stay safe with that as well. Have yourself a good time. Be thankful. Enjoy time with your family. Enjoy your football. Just enjoy the company of other people. It's a lost art these days, and I hope that we all indulge in it a little more often, starting with tomorrow night. But until then, we appreciate you all hanging with us here, having a good time in the chat. We appreciate everyone listening after the fact. Maybe you're doing your kind of obligatory chores as you listen to get out of doing the later ones. Maybe you're having a couple appetizers or something, wait for those first games to kick off. We appreciate all that very much. We appreciate you very much. If you appreciate us, subscribe to us here on YouTube, like the video, comment on it, all that good stuff for us. You can find us on social media at Exit 52 Podcast on X. You can also find us personally there at Jake Louque. That is Louque, Spenny at Ravens 4 Dummies. That's the number 4. Eric at EDITTI22. Brian at Barstool Banks. Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10. We'll see you guys very, very soon.
See ya.